Hello?
Amen.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, shall we start the class?
Sure, madam.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So in the last two classes, we discussed the block number 1 and 2. That is, in the block number 1, we discussed about the first word of our subject, that is business. That is, concepts of business we discussed. And in the second block, we discussed combination of the second word also, that is business organization. What do you mean by that? At the same time, what are the different forms? So already in the last class, I told you about the different forms of business organization. That is, number 1 is sole trading concern. Can anyone tell me what are the different forms of business organization? Please unmute yourself. Excuse me, please, remaining all the students, please mute yourself, and only one student, those who want to respond, they only unmute yourself and respond to the question. Can you tell me what are the different forms of business organization? Okay, Sunil Kumar. Okay, so coming to the different business organizations are nothing but, number 1 is sole trading concern, where the single proprietor runs the business at his own risk. And afterwards, because of the limitations of the sole trading concern, the second form of business organization came into existence. That is nothing but the partnership form of business organization. Partnership form of business organization is nothing but where 2 or more persons carry on the business by sharing the profits and losses among themselves according to the agreement made between them. Basing on the limitations of the partnership, here you can find the next form of business organization came into existence. Mostly in the 19th century, it came. So now between that, you could find the other forms of business organization also. They are joint Hindu family, that is undivided family, at the same time the cooperative societies. So these forms of business organization we discussed in the block number 2. Now coming to the third important form of business organization, just now I told you, that is joint stock company. So how this joint stock company came into existence, let us discuss here. If you see the traditional forms, either the sole proprietorship or the partnership or etc., these organizations could not cope up with the growth and expansion of the trade or the commerce and industry also. Already just now I told you that the limitations of these forms of business organizations made for the emergence of this form of organization, that is joint stock company. This joint stock company form of organization actually was started in England after the Industrial Revolution. The first act governing the company form of organization was passed in India in 1850. After independence, the first Companies Act was passed in the year 1956. And this act with amendments from time to time has been governing the different companies in our country. So now if you see here, 1 minute. Now if you see here, but already just now I told you that by the emergence of this joint stock company, we can say that here we can overcome the limitations of the other forms of business organization, that is sole trading concern and the partnership concern. Okay, so the first form of business organization is sole trading concern. Secondly, it is partnership concern. And the other forms of business organization we discussed in the previous classes, that is block number 1 and 2. So now let us discuss the third form of business organization that took place in the 19th century. So now here, today we are going to discuss the block number 3. That is, just I'm going to share the screen here. These are the concepts that we are going to discuss now here. So in this block number 3, unit number 7, we are going to discuss the joint stock company meaning and how it can be incorporated. At the same time, the documents for the registration of the company. Okay. So now here, before discussing this topic here, remember that here, this joint stock company is nothing but now at present under the act of, earlier it was under the act of Indian Companies Act 1956. But now newly this act 1956 Companies Act with some amendments has been governing in our country at present. That means at present, New Companies Act 2013 has now been passed, taking into account the present requirements of the business. So one more thing, one important thing in these amendments, remember that there is another form of organization also being formed that is called as OPC. OPC means one-person company. So this has given the corporate status to a company started by one person, and this is regarded as the highlight of the new law, corporate social responsibility, and which has been assigned by this act to the companies, where they are required to spend 2% of their net profits for the welfare of the society. So now here, coming to the last form or the third important form of our forms of business organization, that is joint stock company. See the screen slide. The meaning I have given here, it is a voluntary association of individuals for profit having a capital divided into transferable shares, the ownership of which is the condition of membership. So what does it mean here? So it means that here we can tell that, one minute. It is a voluntary association of individuals. So joint stock company, every time remember that here, it is voluntary association of some individuals. So where you could find here the these individuals contribute the capital into different units. So how into different units here? That means by purchasing the shares of the company, and by that they become the owners of the company. So the person who purchased the shares of the company, they are called as owners. That means they are called as shareholders of the company. So here we can say that here, these individuals contributes the capital into contribution in the form of shares. At the same time, they becomes the members of the company. Thus, we can say that they are called as the shareholders of the company. So for every share, whatever they have contributed, that means purchasing of the shares of the company, they need to get obviously the dividend. The dividend is just like the interest. So the interest paid on the share is called as dividend. So this is the meaning of the word joint stock company. So this, remember that joint stock company is nothing but it is an association of persons here, of individuals for profit, having a capital divided into transferable shares, the ownership of which is the condition of the membership. And elaborately, if you see the meaning here, this joint stock company is nothing but it is also as an association or the group of individuals formed for carrying on the business activities. Already in the first block, I think you remember that what is business activity. Already I told you. Business activity is nothing but here. Activity means work. For the purpose of business, what is business? Whatever the work that you do for acquiring the wealth or for earning profit, if you undertake any type of activity, that is called as business activity. So this joint stock company is nothing but it is an association of individuals that these individuals carry on the business activities and has the legal status also independently among themselves. So here thus we can say that joint stock company is nothing but it is an artificial person created by law having the separate legal succession or the legal entity with perpetual succession and a common seat. So the second sentence give you the complete meaning of the word joint stock company. For that, obviously, we have to refer the features of joint stock company. So now already I told you that when this joint stock company was formed, this has been governed by the act, separate act called as Companies Act 1956. But now recently in the year 2013, this act has been amended with some changes. That means that some changes have been made for this act, that is in the year 2013. So that is why now at present, this act is called as New Companies Act 2013. So now see the definition of this joint stock company. So the definitions, there are different definitions given by the different persons here. And here among them here is the Justice Lindley and Chief Justice Marshall. So among all these definitions, when you want to prepare for the exam, you can choose any definition or all the definitions that you like as per your convenience. And now I prefer this definition as the best one. So the definition is nothing but according to section 220 of the Companies Act 2013, company means a company incorporated under this act or under any previous company law. So that means here, whatever the company you take, that means in joint stock company, you could find different companies. Afterwards, and shortly, we are going to discuss that. So any company, whatever you take, for example, a private company or a public company, whatever the company you take, that has been incorporated, that has been formed under this act. This act means here, the new act is New Companies Act 2013. So under any previous company law, means under any previous law means Indian Companies Act 1956. So if any company has been formed either under old or new Companies Act, so that company can be named as a joint stock company. This is the definition. Or otherwise, you can choose this definition also, which can give the complete meaning at the same time the characteristic features. If you see the second definition, just go through the second definition once, you can get the complete meaning. So the second definition is nothing but the joint stock company is an artificial person, invisible, intangible, and existing only in the eyes of law. So this definition that is has been defined by the Chief Justice Marshall. We can go. This definition gives you the complete meaning of the word joint stock company. Other than that, that is, we can know the nature or the features of the joint stock company. Yes, tell me. Any doubts?
No,
Sunil,
No, madam. No, madam.
you have raised the hands. That's why I'm asking. Okay, fine. Okay, now here you see the features, or it is also called as the nature of joint stock company. So if you combine all these features, you can get the broad meaning of the word joint stock company. In shortcut, it is the nature of the joint stock company. So here, first one, already I told you that it has been created by law. Now it is as per the Indian Companies Act, it has every joint stock company has to be created. That means all the this company has is existed under the law. That means the members are the independent members as per the law. They will be the members of the joint stock company. Like a person, a company can own the property or own the bank accounts or undertake the agreements with outsiders or the raise capital, borrow the money or sue the others. That means that is why this company is called as the artificial person also. Remember that. At the same time here, the formation, that means it has been created by law, that means has been formed. So how this company is being formed? Already I told you that under the New Companies Act at present 2013. That means there are a number of formalities which need to be completed before a company is to be formed. Remember that. At the same time, the number of documents are to be prepared, which are to be submitted at the time of registration. The formation of the company is complicated and time-consuming process also. At the same time here, it is the separate legal entity also. That means as per the law, it has been created separately. Just now I told you that. So that means here, that means the company is created under the law. That means it has a separate legal entity apart from its members. A company acts independent of its members. That is the meaning here. Next one is the number of shareholders or the perpetual succession. It has its own seal and the limited liability. This is the limited liability you have to remember. So I hope you remembered the last classes that whatever I told about the liability. The liability of the sole proprietor is unlimited. That means he's responsible for top to bottom, for everything. He's liable to that. Sometimes he's liable for his personal property also. At the same time, the partnership. In the partnership business also, you could find the partners being liable for each and everything. That is unlimited liability is under the partnership concern. At the same time here, either if you take the other forms of organization like the Hindu undivided family or whatever it is, the Karta is liable for everything, that is unlimited, whereas the other members are limited. But here you see the joint stock company. The liability is limited, means less. That means the liability of its shareholders is limited to the value of the shares they have purchased. That is the meaning. In case the company incurs the huge liabilities, the shareholders can only be called upon to pay the unpaid balance of their shares. That is the meaning here. Next, at the same time, a part of this here, they are here the controllable also. That means you could find here, if you see in the sole proprietorship, the sole proprietor is called as the manager. At the same time, he is called as a controller. But here you could find management is different with the ownership. So management is different, owners are different. Owners means shareholders, managers are different. So there is separation between the management and control in this joint stock company. At the same time here, the important feature or the important advantage, you can say that, of joint stock company is transferability of shares. So already when I told you the partnership, I told you that the main limitation of partnership concern is transferability of shares. That means no partner is allowed to transfer their share to others. That is the meaning here. But here, if you see here, no partner is allowed to transfer his share to others. If it is like that here, the partnership will be dissolved. But here, the shares of the company can be easily transferred to the other members also. That means whenever the members want to dispose of the shares, they can, with the minimum small procedure, they can transfer their shares to the other members of the company. So these are the features of the joint stock company here. So next one is, let us discuss about the plus and minus of this, that is pros and cons, that is also called as advantages and disadvantages of joint stock company. The advantages are nothing but here the large resources and limited liability. So just now I told you limited liability is very important. The liability of the members is in a company is limited to the nominal value of the shares that they have acquired. At the same time here, the continuous existence. That means here after the death of the one shareholder also the business continues. Whereas here, if you see in the sole trading or the proprietorship, sole trader or the partnership concern, if the owner leaves or the dies, here we can say that the business form, that business form of organization cannot continue for the long period of time. Nayak Hina Kausar, what is any doubt, ma? Sai, any doubts? You're asking some definitions?
No, madam.
Please,
No, madam.
okay, please put yourself at the same time. Don't put the chats, mother. Okay.
Okay, madam.
It will be okay. So at the same time here, the business continues here forever because there will, you could find the owners means the shareholders will be number. There will be more number of the shareholders here. At the same time here, remember that here the large resource. That means by these large resources, with the availability of large resources, the company can organize the production on a big scale. Please mute yourself. The increase in scale and the size of the business will result in the economies in production or the purchase or the marketing and the management also. A part of that here, this joint stock company is able to cope up with the changing business environment also. That means the present business enterprises are operating under certain economic and technological environment. So that means here technological changes are taking place every day. So the needs of consumers are varied and changing to cope with the changing environment every day. So that is why here, by this joint stock company, obviously, this we can say that it can run successfully with the changing business environment. A part of this here, you could find some disadvantages also. That means here difficulty to form. That means it is very, the promotion of the company is not an easy task, where a number of stages, shortly I'm going to discuss what are the stages, number of formalities are to be observed if you want to form a company, a joint stock company. That means the suitability of a particular type of business is to be decided first. For that, a number of persons should be ready to associate for getting a company incorporated. So it is very difficult to form one joint stock company. A part of that here, this is being controlled by a group of persons. So sometimes it happens that there will be impersonal work environment also. There will be separation of ownership. Just now I told you, you could find the owners are different, management is different. So you could find impersonal work environment also. At the same time here, excessive government control. So that means numerous rules and regulations are to be followed, that means as per the company's law. At the same time here, as the members are more in number, sometimes it happens that the decisions will be delayed. That means there will be delay in decision making. And here, as the numbers are more in number, you could find the lack of secrecy also. That means the management of companies remains in the hands of the few persons only. So what will happen? This everything is discussed in this board of directors. That means these persons means in the board of directors. The trade secrets cannot be maintained. That is the main thing. But whereas in the case of the other forms of business organization like the sole trader or the partnership concerns, that secrecy is possible because the few persons are involved in the management. So these are the main limitations. A part of this, you could find the fraudulent management, speculation in shares, and the evils in the factory system, or sometimes the pollution also makes affects a lot. So these are the limitations of the joint stock company. But here just now in the I told you, you could find the different types. So when I told you the meaning of the word company, I told you that there are different types of companies. Whatever the company that you take, that has to be formed as per the law. So what are the different types of companies? Or what are the different kinds of companies? So we can divide the kinds of companies under different categories. As per their formation, that is as per their incorporation, as per their liability. Liability means responsibility. How they are controlling their business as per their transferability of shares. Whether they are ready to transfer their shares to the other members or not. So under this type here, the first one you see the Royal Chartered Company. So these chartered companies are nothing but they are incorporated by under the charter. You don't find now at present this Royal Chartered Company. When the Britishers ruled our country, the Britishers have formed this type of companies. They are called as Royal Chartered Companies, and this type of companies are incorporated under the Royal Charter issued by the king or the head of the state. Second one is called as a statutory company. So these companies are formed under a special statute of parliament or the state legislature. That type of companies are called as the statutory company. For example, you take this Reserve Bank of India. under the Reserve Bank of India Act, this company has been formed. At the same time, IFC, State Trading Corporation. IFC means Industrial Finance Corporation of India, or IDBI, Industrial Development Bank of India. All these financial institutions come under this category. Next one is the registered companies. The name itself indicates registered, means these are the companies formed and registered under the Indian Companies Act, now at present 2013. So those companies are called as whatever it is here, the companies which are registered under the Indian Companies Act, those companies are called as the Indian Companies Act means now at present 2013, they are called as the registered companies. Next one is the under the liability. Liability means just I told you responsibility. What is the responsibility? Responsibility means here limited by shares. So their responsibility will be only by the shares. So if they purchase the shares, their responsibility will be okay. Other than this here, you could find the limited by guarantee. So what does it mean here? These companies are also formed under the Companies Act with a stipulation in the memorandum clause that members are guaranteed to pay a certain sum of money in case of its winding up. So that type of company is called as limited by guarantee. Other than that, you could find the unlimited company. Unlimited company means the company is registered without limiting the liability of members to the value of the shares are called as unlimited. Actually, the liability of joint stock company is limited only. But other than that, you could find some companies which are registered with where the liability will be unlimited. They're responsible for everything. So those companies are called as the unlimited companies. So just like the partnership concerns, here also the liability will be unlimited. Next one is according to the control. That means holding company, and that means we can say that these two companies are according to the ownership and the control. So what does it mean here? Holding company. So holding company means here when a company holds other company, these companies can be either the manufacturer companies or the insurance companies or the banking companies also. At the same time here, you could find these holding companies. That means what do you mean by holding company? If a company can control the policies of another company through the ownership of its share or through control over the composition of its board of directors, that company is called as the holding company. Okay, so next one, the company is called as a subsidiary company. These company may be the different manufacturing companies or the insurance companies. So these companies have to be also be incorporated under the Indian Companies Act, but separate rules are framed for this further regulations. The last one is the transferability of the shares. Private company and the public company. So public companies are nothing but, remember that according to section 2(7) of the 2 and subsection 7 of the Companies Act 2013, public company is nothing but which is not a private company, or a company which has a minimum paid up capital of rupees 5 lakhs or such higher capital as may be prescribed. That company is called as a public company. And other than that, here you could find the private company also. So in the next afterwards, we are going to discuss elaborately here. Now the important topic. So as per the examination point of view also, this is an important topic. You may get the question that how can a company be registered, or what are the formalities to be observed for the registration of a company, or in shortcut, what are the stages for the promotion of a company. So what are the stages for the promotion of company means you need to follow some stages. The first stage is nothing but here, it is being, you need to promote here. The promotion is the first stage here. So promotion means here, remember that here, what does, that means there are different stages. In shortcut, I'll tell you. Promotion is the first stage. Incorporation or the registration. Registration is the second stage. So whatever the slide that you are seeing, that is the second stage. Other than that, here you could find here the third one as the capital subscription or the raising of capital is also important. At the same time here, commencement of business is also under stage. So thus, in simple words, we can say that there are 4 stages for the promotion of the company. One is promotion. Second one is registration or incorporation. Third one is capital subscription, means raising of capital. Fourth one is commencement of business. So now here let us discuss what is the first one. Just I told you first one is promotion of a company. Promotion means is nothing but it is the first stage. Already I told you. So what does it mean here? The necessary arrangements are being taken for promotion of a company. That means here some ideas have to be brought forward for the formation of a company into practice. So that means here it is a practice of planning and arranging the various inputs required for running the business. So what does it mean here? Promotion means is nothing but identification of opportunities and studying the features or assembling the requirements or financing the proposition. So all these are undertaken by group of persons. They're called as the promoters. These promoters helps in promotion of the company in different ways. So they help in bringing out the idea of a company, or they help in identification of the opportunities, or they help in the assembling the requirements. So they undertake different things, means identification of opportunity, business opportunities they undertake. They undertake the detailed investigation. They undertake the approval of the name of the company, or they undertake the signatories of the memorandum of association, or they appoint some professionals for giving the guidance. At the same time, whatever the documents that are required for the promotion of the company, all these will be prepared by these promoters also. So that is the first stage, that is promotion. What is
Ma'am, my voice audible లేదు ma'am.
Ma'am, your voice is not audible.
now? Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Where it stopped? Can you tell me?
Starting, ma'am.
From the starting of this topic, ma'am.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, from the starting of this topic. Okay.
Yes.
Registration of the company. Is it visible, ma?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So here already I told you that. Hope you listen to the stages for the promotion of a company. If a company want to be promoted, totally there are 4 stages. So one stage is nothing but promotion of the company. Second stage is nothing but incorporation, means also called as registration of a company. Third one is called as capital subscription, means raising of capital. Fourth stage is called as commencement of business. Again, I repeat, if a company want to be promoted, there are 4 stages. First one is promotion of a company, done by the group of persons called as promoters. Second one is incorporation, also called as registration of a company. That one you can see the slide. Third one is capital subscription, means raising of the capital. Fourth one is commencement of business. So if you see the promotion of the company here, promotion of the company is regarded as a first stage where the group of persons called as promoters create some ideas or bring up the ideas into practice. That means, what does it mean here? Promotion means this group of persons identify the opportunities of the business and procure the requirements relating to the business and make the arrangements for getting the finance. All these are undertaken. All these activities are undertaken. Arranging the various inputs also come under this category. So all these arrangements are being undertaken by the promoters for the promotion of the company. So that is the first stage here. So in shortcut, again I repeat, the promotion of a company will be done by the group of persons. They are called as the underwriters, where they identify the business opportunities. They undertake the detailed investigation. At the same time, approve the name of the company, get the signatories to memorandum, appointment of the professionals, and or prepare the necessary documents relating to the formation of the company. And here, after these persons make arrangements, now they have to make arrangements for the registration of the company. So this is also called as the registration of the, this is also called as incorporation of a company or registration of a company. This is the second stage for the promotion of a company. So remember that a company being an artificial entity comes into existence only after its registration. That is being done by the Register of Companies. A number of formalities have to be observed. So after completing all the formalities, a request is to be made before the register for its registration. So if after ensuring that all the formalities have been observed and all the documents have been filed, then the Register of the Companies issues one certificate that is called as Certificate of Incorporation. That is why this second stage is also called as incorporation. So in shortcut, we are calling it as registration of the company. So how do we obtain this certificate of incorporation? Only when all the formalities have been observed. Then only with this certificate, the company becomes the legal entity. So how do you get this certificate here? So some steps have to be followed here. These are the steps. So first one is that nothing but before getting a company registered, the first stage you have the first important stage is nothing but the company has to get the first that means the company is to be incorporated for obtaining the approval of the name of the company from the Register of Companies. According to the Names and Emblems Act, they have to register the name of the company. Secondly, here after that, here we can say that they have to prepare some documents. What are the important documents? In the last topic, I'm going to discuss. The important documents are nothing but Memorandum of Association, and afterwards Articles of Association, and after that, finally, the prospectus. So what is memorandum? That is an important document, or the first important document, or the next important step that you need to forward for the preparation of the document called as preparation of the Memorandum of Association. So what is this here? It is a constitution of the company. So how we have the constitution in the same way, this memorandum is regarded as the constitution of the company, and which it describes the objectives and the scope and the relation with the outside world also. So this memorandum is to be signed, remember that, by at least 7 persons if it is a public company, and at least by 2 persons in case of private limited company. And finally, the memorandum should be printed and properly stamped also. That is the thing. So after that, you need to make the arrangements for the preparation of the Articles of Association, where this document contains the rules and regulations relating to the internal management of the company. A public limited company may not file its own Articles of Association, but it may adopt the model clauses prescribed in the Table A schedule of the Act. A private limited company is also required to submit its articles duly signed by the signatories. Other than these two, there are other documents also, like the documents like the power of attorney, or the consent of directors, or the particulars relating to the directors, or the affidavit by the subscribers, or the affidavit by the first directors, or the statutory declaration stating that all the above requirements, whatever they have mentioned under the section, have been completely being filed. Everything is fair also. And finally, at the time of registration, remember that if all these documents are to be filed at the time of registration, prescribing the registration fees and the filing of fee for each document is very important. So now here you see here. So 1 minute. So now here, if you want to incorporate here, I told you some certificates. That is, memorandum of association is very important, articles of association. This one separately I'm dealing. Why? Again, because again, separately you may get the question that explain the steps or explain what are the important company documents, discuss elaborately or briefly. So then you have to mention all this, where you see the second and third one is very important. So these are the important documents that every company need to be filed for the registration of the company. The first one is that the certificate of incorporation. So it is an official legal document which proves the company's existence also. So when all that means it includes everything, the company name, the date of incorporation, the company number, type of the company, country of registration, everything will be enclosed. So here this incorporation certificate, remember that can be obtained when all the required formalities or the documents are filed with the registrar along with the requisite fee, and the scrutiny will be made after this. So what is this prescribed fee here? The payment of fees and the filing of the fee for each document is very important, and they have to be paid at the registered office. The fee to be paid varies with the amount of nominal capital in case of companies with share capital, or according to the number of members in case of companies without share capital also. So here, remember that then only this certificate will be obtained. That is called as incorporation certificate. So that means when all the required incorporation certificate is nothing but when all the required documents are filed with the registrar along with the requisite fee, a scrutiny will be made. When all the documents are found in order, then the registrar will enter the name of the company in the register of companies and issues one certificate, the certificate of incorporation. In the right side slide, you can see just the format of this here. The date mentioned in the certificate will be the date of incorporation of the company. The second important document is called as memorandum and articles of association here. So memorandum and articles of association, already I told you, it is very, very important documents. Memorandum means just like it is a constitution, and it describes about all the complete description about the company, the name clause, capital clause, subscription clause, the objective clause, that is called as object clause. Clause means paragraph. They have to be mentioned in the paragraphs here. So all these details. The second document is called as articles. Just now I told you, articles are nothing but here it describes about the rules and regulations of the company. So here we can say that here this articles of association is regarded as an important document of the company also. So after these two documents, then the fourth one is company register. A company register is another legal document which are required to have after the incorporation under the Companies Act. It is important set of the records that should be kept at the company's registered office and update on ongoing basis. At the same time here, remember that 1 minute. The screen share is not happening. Okay, just listen, only few topics are left. So companies register, that is the fourth important document. This is another important legal document which are required to have the company incorporation under the Companies Act. So this document is very regarded as an important one, where it has the set of records that should be kept at the company's registered office and updated on an ongoing basis. So there are some company or the statutory registers which should be maintained by the company. What are they? They are the register of members, one register should be maintained, register of transfers, register of directors, register of secretaries, register of charges, register of minutes also. All these registers combinedly should be maintained here. Okay, 1 minute, I'll share the screen. Just 1 minute now. So these are the registers that should be maintained here. Other than their share certificates also. So share certificates are also regarded as the important legal documents that prove who the owners of the company are, the date that they become the shareholder, and how many shares they own. Next one is certificate of good standing. So this document is issued by the company's house and can be obtained directly from them and from your accountant's formation agent. So these are the important documents that have to be filed. And finally, if the after going all these certificates, if the company is satisfied with all the formalities or with all the documents that have been enclosed, finally, they can issue the certificate and finally the company can be formed. So then only the private company can be formed. Remember that. So if a last one is notarization. In some cases, you may need to have a legal document notarized also. This means that here the document's validity and signatories or the signatures have been confirmed and officially certified by the notary public. And the last, so with this, if all these formalities have been observed, a private company can commence the business. But a public company needs one more document that is called as prospectus. So what is the next important document? This is the last important document where every public limited company has to prepare it. So it is a document required by and filed by the SEC that provides the details about the investment, how much they have invested for their business, complete description. So in simple words, prospectus is nothing but invitation given by the public to subscribe for the purchasing of the shares of their company or subscribing of their capital, purchasing of the shares of the company or the purchasing of the debentures of the company or body corporate. So in this prospectus, all these contents have to be clearly be mentioned here. So the name and address of the registered office, name of the stock exchange, details related to the minimum subscription, capital structure of the company, terms of the present issue, particulars about the issue, company management and the project, financial information of the company, statutory information as per the Companies Act. So when this document has been prepared and been filed, finally the public company gets the certificate of incorporation and finally they can commence the business. So thus, these are the important documents. With this, all these legal formalities, when all these legal formalities have been formed, have been framed and have been filed, then the public or the private company can commence its business. So this is the end of this block number 3 in brief. Okay. Any doubts, any queries?
Madam,
No, madam.
can you give the important questions in this chapter?
In the last class, I'll discuss about the important topics and important, not in the sense important topics I can tell you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that one elaborately in the same way with the PPT I'm going to tell you so that it can be remembered well by you at the time of exam. Okay,
Okay,
is it
ma'am.
okay for you?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, any doubts?
No, madam.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you for joining. Have a great day. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.